Hotep Senuena Senut E Tiren Ishaka and Kemet. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to you, brother Chris MVP Harris. I've already shared the link. It's pinned. It's at the top. Um, but if you don't see it, I can share it again. You are welcome as usual. Everybody's welcome, as a matter of fact. And I almost entitled this video Q&A, free talk, but I decided to just put a different title. But for those who are new and for those who don't know, anytime I'm live streaming, you are always free to address any topic of your choice, to ask any question. Uh, I'm not used to saying that's off topic. We're not talking about this today. If I don't have any answer to your question, most of the time I tell you I don't. I might refer you to some work, but I don't even normally freestyle about stuff I don't know about. So, did you see the link, brother Chris? Hey, Hotep sent E. He's greeting me and he's greeting the brothers. And if you want send E Blaya, you can add Senut. So nobody's gonna be jealous. They're not gonna confuse us with Hebrew Israelites. Uh, it is. There it is. Senut. So everybody's happy. And they never forget our sisters. They don't really show up lately, but hey, I don't blame them. Some would say too much testosterone, too much egos. Tu veux aller là? Bear with me. Hotel Chris, how you doing? Can you hear me, Chris? Hotel Chris, how you doing? Can you hear me, Chris?
Yeah. Here,
Hotel Chris, how you doing?
yeah, what's going on, bro? Let me put a shirt on because I gotta turn my screen on real quick.
Yeah. Okay, take your time, brother.
Here,
Hotel Chris, how you doing?
yeah, what's going on, bro? Let me put a shirt on because I gotta turn my screen on.
I think you can hear me. I've just muted you. When you come back, feel free to unmute yourself. And if anybody else want to come in, what I'm saying. I was about to go through some artifacts from the Louvre Museum and read a little bit of Medu nature. So when it's not popping, then I will do so. But if there's participation, I prefer that. I prioritize that. So like I said before, some has never, hollered, never got on the platform to say what's up. Uh, and feel free, even if you just want to say, hey, I just want to greet you. I appreciate your work. I've been following you over the years. It's not to boost my ego or to flatter my ego, but it's nice, to hear that every now and then, to find out where the people are located. The majority of my audience is in America, despite what some people say about me, uh, you know, not being part of the CMB, we got team. So, and sometimes I'm surprised because people will uh, be from different parts of the world. Back then I used to have more people from the motherland, but they might have got attracted to other platforms where there's more people, more drama, more claims, more linguistic acrobatics, more linguistic gymnastics, more comfort for Abrahamic believers, And no matter what we say, the Abrahamic believers, they have it on lock. They run the game. They definitely run the game. You know, so there's no war against Abrahamic believers. It's just different of opinion. We have records, they don't. They have what is called theology, they have what is called faith, and they have strength in number. Did I check the sound? Bear with me. Well, because our brother is not ready yet, I might as well just put up some artifact. Uh, oh, there it is. You're muted, brother. Yeah, there it
What's
is.
going on? What's going on?
Oh, chilling, brother. How are you, man?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good, man. I didn't get a chance to really talk about what I want to talk about, and that was the guest that you had on yesterday. And as always, first of all, this is an excellent book right here. This shuts down 90% of the YouTube scholarship that we see going on. Oh, they weren't black. They weren't black. Oh, blah, blah, blah. All right, and it's got tons and tons of graphic footage in this book, or illustrations of what these people look like and who they were. And I mean, it's tons and tons of it. I had bought this book from the library for like $5. I saw it in the bargain bin and I couldn't believe it. And I says, let me buy it since nobody. And it's The Art of Ancient Egypt. That's what it's called, The Art of Ancient Egypt.
Who's the author, brother?
Huh?
Who is the author?
Oh, the author is Gay Robbins. Go figure. That's his name.
No, Gay Robin. Robin.
Yes, Robbins.
Okay.
Correct. That is
So
correct.
Gay Robin. Okay, I've put it in the chat and I look it up. See, a lot of our people, a lot of our people is not aware of how many depictions of black slash dark brown ancient Egyptians we have, and many times, like I said, as I go through the museums in different countries, it's as if the older the artifacts are, and the blacker they appear.
The blacker they appear.
Yes,
And you know what? They always depicted themselves as they were, and they depicted the other nations around them. And
hmm
sorry, guys, nobody of the Abrahamic faith were pictured as looking like you or me. I'm sorry, they just weren't. They were pictured looking like Semites, Semitic people, or Arab-looking people. That's how they always identified them. So
yeah.
another book that I always tell people to get is this book right here. It's called When We Ruled, of another Robin.
Oh, Robin Walker.
But get Robin Walker's book, When We Ruled. As y'all can see, it's thicker than a Bible. It's
Mm,
thicker than a Bible. It's literally
mm.
thicker than a Bible here. And it's about this thick here if you look at it. See?
Mm.
Oh, let me
That
straighten you up. As I
yeah
can see, it's
is
thicker than the
is
Bible.
yeah, it's from England, and he had a lot of publicity. I think I was still living in England when he came out, and yeah, he had a lot of publicity. So I haven't read it, but eventually, I might come across it.
Yeah,
Um,
so I kind of like wanted to deal with the brother that we had on here yesterday, and I want to
doc,
spice things up a little bit here.
yeah, Dr. Jahihisa,
Yeah,
know.
Dr.
And and,
East.
and and I thank him once again for coming in. What I'm saying, he didn't have to, even though it was more to get some things off his chest. But I appreciate that he came and we had a chance to dialogue. But feel free, brother Chris.
Yeah, one of the bigger problems we have in in this community is something called honesty, right? Now, when you're being honest, one of the things you do is you set a precedent for yourself, right? You set a certain standard for yourself, and you expect others to follow the standard that you are setting for yourself. But unfortunately, other people aren't going to follow it, right? Not everybody's going to always follow suit on your standard, and that's acceptable, right? I've made mistakes in the community. You have. Arguments always happen, right? That's why a lot of my videos were taken down. that I took down myself because I want to present a certain standard. And, to his credit, he does make a lot of sense when he says write a paper, right? But that's not where he's a little disingenuous, and this is not a bad thing, is you don't have to write a paper to debate someone. You don't have to write a paper to answer back at somebody. That's why we have what we call social media. And this is the technology that we have today. A paper was to, when someone wrote a paper, it was to give a critique of your work. Now, these days, we have social media platforms where we can go live with it and we can give a paper, or we can give a dissertation on your work, and we can critique your work live on air. So a paper is just your thoughts being placed on a sheet of paper. That's all it is. It's nothing more. What he doesn't like, or anybody would like, is when somebody takes their work and they present a scholastic work and they present it on a YouTube channel and they begin to critique it. Nobody likes that because it's putting them on the spot. You see what I'm saying? It's putting their work out there for a wider audience to listen to it. So I felt like anytime I see Dr. Issa, he'll show up, like, say for instance, Brother Shaka. Brother Shaka is very well educated. He's self-taught. There's nothing wrong with that. One of our greater writers, his name was Dr. Chancellor Williams. Oh, he wasn't a real doctor, but Dr. Chancellor Wilson did write the book, The Destruction of the Black Civilization, that led to the scholarship being enriched and other scholars taking a deeper look into the field of African history. And yes, there are some mistakes in it, but what writers don't make mistakes, because information is always going to come forth, right? Excuse me. So I notice whenever he comes around, he tends to be very, very, he sounds genuine, but he begins to qualify people by saying, I went to school for this. I went to school for this. I went to school for that. I went to school for this. I went to school for that. I went to school. I. And it becomes very circular. It becomes very redundant. And it becomes somewhat ad nauseum, because you're just all like, okay, man, I get it. You went to school, right? Okay. Congratulations. Because if I begin to come on here and qualify you, he has a PhD, I have a master's. I can't go forth from I can't dare I say ask him any questions, or dare I say debate him because of his quote unquote doctorate's degree. I don't think
Well, he I mean, he's a grown man. I don't need to defend him, but just trying to be fair, he he mm, he said, I was never trying to debate him, but at one point, as the discussion went on, I said, taking some tweet word and dissecting it, to try to match it with Medu nTr. And he said, I'm not gonna, debate that unless you read the book. So I'm like, okay, fair enough, fair enough. That's his point. That's his stance, and that's fine. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really feel like his position is, if you don't have a PhD, I'm not gonna talk about it with you. I think his main reproach is that I have not read the book. But once again, I'm not sure if you really realize that the critique was Dr. Campbell. I'm not really sure that he actually realized that.
Well, it goes right back into this, and I heard him and Brother Shaka have a discourse one time, and Shaka,
Shaka
Shaka
Amos.
was giving him that work.
Yeah.
Shaka was putting that work in on him, and Shaka uses facsimile and primary sources to create his hypothesis and his stance on certain things. And he's going to say, well, based on what I've read, or based on what I've studied or been studying, or my current study, you are in fact wrong, right? And he'll do that. So Dr. Issa was saying, you're not qualified to debate me. You haven't been to this university. You haven't been to that university. You haven't been to this university. Now, I want to say something. John Henry Clark, one of our greatest scholars that we ever had, he hadn't been to any universities. He hadn't been to a lot of universities. But guess what? He could sit right there and debate anybody that was supposedly more superior than he was in that field because he had dedicated his life to learning and understanding it. And this is where the quote came from. I only debate my equal. All others I
I
teach.
teach.
You know,
Is
when
this
he
is
said that, and anybody that tried to stand up to him using their collegiate reasoning, and I've been there. I like showing people how smart I am sometimes. He literally, anytime somebody posed a black or white question or a question about geography concerning Africa, he just dismissed them scholastically. And that's what I kept telling people. Look how smart he is versus a bunch of PhDs up there. Middle East, middle of what? What is it in the middle of? Remember that one based on the book Black Athena. So
Mhm.
Mary Lefkowitz book Black Athena, which is garbage, by the way. But I want to continue to say this. As he was having a discourse or a live discourse with Brother Shaka, this is the video right here that we see now. I found it to
Yeah.
be a bit disingenuous because you're agreeing to come on the video to talk to Shaka. So talk to him concerning the topics that Shaka wants to discuss with you. If you're the scholar that you say you are, and I really do believe he is,
Oh, he is.
okay, then present yourself to him because you have set a precedent where it's not fair for you to tell somebody else they're not qualified to talk to you, but yet on your team, because I looked this up as he was talking, I'm in a university, an LLC company, limited liability corporation or company. I found that weird that you have a software developer on your team and it doesn't say a linguist under his name. Then I looked again on another website and he was a cultural what was it called, a cultural developist or
No,
historian or something?
theorist, something like that. The cultural theory. Well, I can actually. I will.
Theorist. Yeah, I've never heard of a degree concerning that. But
Happyfilm.com.
yeah,
What is it?
but what I want to say is where it's hilarious at is you set this
Yes,
precedent.
yes. Cultural theorist slash Africana researcher.
Yeah, let's pull this up. Can we pull this up?
Yeah, of course. Hold on. I'm gonna. And you know, when you're done, just for the record, I'm gonna play the video
Oh yeah,
of the
yeah, yeah.
discourse
Oh,
with
oh,
him and Chaka Amo.
wonderful,
So
Shaka.
so
Do
people
it.
can, you know, now so here it is. This is happyfilm.com slash cast. So we have the brother Asaim Hotep, who says that rise of volcano and allies in the Egyptian text. Uh, cultural theorist slash Africana researcher. You know.
Now, I find this funny because Ra is a volcano. Did you qualify him on that? Did you ask him 1,000 questions on that? Did you tell him he's not qualified to make such a statement? Wherein the Medu or any of the hieroglyphs, as we call them, or any of their writings that they describe Ra as a volcano, can you please bring forth this information? Neither here nor there, but here it is. You have a gentleman on your team who's a cultural theorist and an African researcher. Well, technically speaking, Dr. Issa, Brother Shaka, he can qualify himself as a cultural theorist and an Africana researcher also. So with him on your team, that means you have to have a discussion with Shaka or anyone else who usurps this title as cultural theorist or Africana researcher, which means anybody in that sense. So it's disingenuous of you to say such things. Can we go to the other one where he says that he's a software developer? Okay.
What was the name of the website again? Is
That
it
was Amin University.
no, because he says is it Beyond Africa?
I think so,
Beyond
yeah.
well, okay, never mind. So
Let me look into my history right
uh
quick.
origin origin of the word amen. Uh is it going or not? Origin of the word amen. There it is. And oh yeah, well no, I have to do indeed is Amen University LLC is West Africa Beyond Org,
There it is. There it is.
and then we go to presenters and scroll down a little bit, and he actually appears. I mean, they don't have an order like of hierarchy, because he appears before Dr. Jahi Issa and Dr. Salim Faraji. It might be, well, no, it doesn't look like it's alphabetical order. But anyway, a Saim Hotep software developer. And for all these years, he's been running around saying, I'm a linguist. He can do that with the brothers and sisters from the conscious community, but he knows he cannot do that with fellow scholars.
That is correct. So he also runs his own institution called the asarmotep.com. And here's the thing. I'm with any black man that tries to forward education. Any black man that tries to push education first. I don't care if you have a PhD. I don't care if you have a master's. I don't care if you don't have it. But what I do care about is education. And the fact that he is trying to forward education, I would never have a problem with him about. Notice this is not a personal attack on Asar Imhotep, but this is the standard that Dr. Issa presents when he's talking to other people of what he is, who he is, what you have, what you don't have, right? He comes across very arrogant sometimes. And you will find this out in the Shaka Amos video. Now, did you tell Asar Imhotep the same thing, that he's not qualified to be in the Hopi film, that he's not qualified to have discussions with other PhDs or doctors or people that hold those degrees in that field? Did you tell him that? Are you holding him to the same precedent? That's what I was really going to ask you when we came on here. Let's just let it be known. I've dealt with people who've called themselves doctors before and come to find out that they weren't doctors. And it's very upsetting when you find out that they're not, because it's disturbing, because I don't lie. All right. If it's something I don't know, hey guys, I don't know. Right. Yeah. Somebody asked me where the Ramesside kings came from. I said, no one really knows where they came from. As far as we're concerned, they were war generals and they usurped the throne. No one knows how they came about. Right. What I'm trying to show here is, let's not be hypocrites when we come on here. When Shaka opens up his mouth, we know he's smart. When I open up my mouth, I'm pretty sure people can tell that I'm pretty smart and well-spoken and well-read. I think it's a disservice to your own people when you're not even willing to come on here as a PhD with a doctorate or someone with a doctorate and have a nice discussion about them. Dr. Richard Carrier does it all the time, and you never see Dr. Carrier running around telling anybody, hey, look, I have this, I have that, I have this, I have that. You can't debate me. You can't do this. He'll debate anybody, because he knows that he's fully capable of standing up to the scrutiny of the book. He can face scrutiny concerning his theories that he's come forth with. He can face it because he knows he's classically educated in that field. You understand what I'm saying? He understands how to debate. He understands how to speak. And he understands that people are going to have problems with his work. He understands coming off bat, I'm qualified to have this discussion. I don't need to hear that you're qualified of it. And you were wrong. If Brother Shaka was telling you that I was reading a critique of the work, why do we have to hear 1,000 more times to Brother Shaka? Well, you got it wrong. He's telling you what he's reading. See, that's called shooting yourself in the foot. You're so smart, you made a mistake, and you didn't want to acknowledge the mistake. You know what I'm saying? Because Brother Shaka said, well, I didn't say anything. I was just reading it. We'll read the book. Well, I'm just reading the critique of the book. So I don't want to take up too much time. As I said, I think he's very disingenuous. And you could be well-spoken and be disingenuous. You could be smart and be disingenuous. You could be a genius and be disingenuous. The bottom line is, not only are you disingenuous, but you're also a hypocrite, and you contradict yourself because you're not holding the same precedent to that of your team.
I cannot dictate, what you want to say, but when you say hypocrite, I don't know. I mean.
Too hard? Is that too hard, Shaka? Is it too hard?
I mean, the brother came on. It's like, when Garfield came on, and after he left, I think it was about a radio one. Or I was like, let's try not to, don't want it to sound like, okay, now he's off. We're gonna say some stuff, but I understand what you mean. I mean, um, I agree with you that it's problematic when you have the software developer, the theorist who has no problem making critiques of Dr. Diop and saying that Dr. Diop was wrong, that Dr. Diop did not use a proper method. You know, there is no problem, and the book is in French, like I explained this morning, like I shown this morning. Now, if it has been translated in English, something I'm not aware of, anybody is free to let me know. I'm not aware of the book being translated in English, so I'm not aware of Asylum Hotel being able to read a book in French. So has he read the book that he's critiquing? You know, and Jean-Claude Mboli's book as well was written in French. Has he read the book of Jean-Claude Mboli? What language did he read the book in? You know, I mean, maybe because they might know each other, they might have some sort of relationship. Maybe he was sent, you know, a digital copy and he copied and pasted and used Google Translate. I don't think he paid some people to come up with a accurate translation. But I would rather use double standard. That's just me trying to be diplomatic. You know what I'm saying? But I understand where you come from. Do you want me to play the video now?
Yeah, yeah. I've
Yeah,
said all I had to say. You see how fast I can do that, Dr. Issa? And I don't have a doctorate either.
yeah. But yeah, let me play the video so people will see that it's like uh well, people can see. You know, it's 20 minutes long, so let's just enjoy. Let me share the screen. Boom, boom, boom.
Because we use the precision language here, and precision language can only be a product of precision thinking. And with respect to any person that would say something like that, if they do indeed have a degree in Islamic studies, for them to tell someone of African extraction and African creation that it is a waste of time to get a degree in Africana studies or African studies, I think that it is disingenuous, and it shows a lack of clear insight in one's own disposition and demeanor.
I just want to give some context to the brothers and sisters. This is shortly after Dr. Wesley Muhammad, PhD, after his appearance on the Breakfast Club radio, and he stated that African degrees are BS degree. I mean, Bush degrees. That's what he stated. You know, so that's what Shaka Amos was referring to.
Yeah, you talking
I
about when
mean,
Dr. Issa went on there? When Dr. Issa went on there?
no, no. See, right now he mentioned, the one who has a PhD in Islamic studies. He's talking about Wesley Muhammad. Because I don't know if you're aware. Did you know that Wesley Muhammad went on the Breakfast Club and said that African history degrees are BS degree?
I don't, you know how I feel about the Abrahamic bull stuff. I don't
Oh
care if
yeah.
it's
Well,
yeah.
yeah. But
Go
that's
ahead.
that's
Yeah,
that's what he
yeah.
said.
I
That's
don't
what he
know.
stated.
But see, that's the problem. That's one of the things I always say. It's funny when the African speaks for himself.
Hmm.
All of a sudden, the African scholarship or the African who is somewhat scholastic, he's neglected. The African is neglected in social media. He's neglected socially. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, now African degrees are garbage. So does that? I mean, why would you down Africa like that? Why would you take a shot at education in Africa? I mean, but hey, I guess it's okay to go to Michigan State and take an Africana Studies and get an Africana Studies degree there. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to it, over here, over there in Africa, if you take it there, it's bullshit. When you got
Oh,
10 toes on the ground.
for the record, he didn't mean like degrees from the African continent are BS degree. He was saying degrees of in the field of African African
Africana
history.
study
Yeah,
history. Once
Yeah,
again, it's stupid. It's
yeah,
even dumber to make that claim. It
yeah.
just got dumber for that. But we found out he was lying about his degree anyway. We remember that one. You know what I'm saying? So
Wesley Muhammad.
yeah. You don't remember that when he came on there and he showed his degree and it was something was spelled wrong
No, no, no.
on
Hold on, hold on. No,
was
that's
that
Ali.
him?
That's Ali Muhammad. No,
Ali
yeah, 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 yeah,
Muhammad.
yeah. No,
Okay, okay. That was
Ali
Ali
Muhammad.
Muhammad.
Yeah,
See,
yeah,
I
yeah.
told you I get all them Abrahamic
Yeah.
people mixed up. Forgive me, brother Muhammad.
No problem, no problem. No,
Yeah,
Ali
still
Muhammad.
his statement
Yeah,
was
yeah.
nonsense though.
Ali
Yeah.
Muhammad is who is like kind of a more, not maybe a temple more, who probably was once a member of the Nation of Islam because he talked a lot about the NOI and Elijah Muhammad. But he has a YouTube channel with a name that I don't want to say strange name, but I cannot really say the name. I don't know why he doesn't go by Ali Muhammad, but he's the one who showed a fake degree. He's the one who showed a degree with a spelling error, and the whole community went at him for that. And he did that on Saneta's platform, so he got roasted because no university will issue a degree with a spelling error, and the degree was a doctorate degree. So that's the length that he went to in order to false flag,
Lie
basically.
about
But
his
but,
credentials.
but yeah, but right now he's talking about Wesley Muhammad, the student
Wesley
minister,
Muhammad.
yeah, who was an
That was still a
advisor.
stupid statement to
Yeah,
make. It
yeah,
doesn't matter.
it is a stupid statement to make indeed. I mean, Islamic studies is cool, but African history is BS degree. But that's the guy who said throw Kemet in the garbage can, throw my out in the trash can, throw Amen rather they're making God away. So we can see where he stands. But anyway, let's continue.
You're not really clear about yourself. Of course, I know. I'm only one person would say something like that. However, hey, I gotta shout the brother out. At least he mentioned me in his footnotes in his publications. Yeah, he certainly did. He got no choice in the matter. I made him big again. So, but here's the thing, though. The thing is like this. Now, the statement itself, I don't have a problem with. I have a problem with who it came from under the circumstances in which you framed the statement. You understand? But the statement itself, I have no problem with it. I don't. I have no problem with somebody saying, "Oh, don't get a degree in Africana studies because it's a BS degree." I personally think that that we can do the research and we can even control the narrative without having to give them so much money. Because when you get that degree, hold on, listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. It's like you giving them so much money to get back what is rightfully yours. You understand what I'm saying? That culture and that knowledge that they stole is yours. So for you to go and it's like they're ransoming it back to you. You understand what I'm saying? So hear what I'm saying. Now, if we were going to shove our children in the direction to get degrees, it has to be degrees in finance. It has to be degrees in geopolitics. It has to be degrees in things. It has to be degrees in things that will directly affect our economic power. It has to be.
Hold on.
No, he didn't invite to tell us his opinion. He's entitled to his opinion. Yeah. Hold on. I didn't. Well, hold on.
I can stand on my dime.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Any subject
without question. Absolutely. So give the brother his shot.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Give the brother his crack. Absolutely. Give the brother his crack. So again, the brother.
Now, just for those who didn't get that, if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But what I heard is Dr. Jahisa said, Shaka don't know what he's talking about. So that's but Shaka almost is cool at this point. It's like, oh, all right, so let's watch the rest.
Here, he made a statement that I don't know what I'm talking about, which is an unfortunate statement because
subject that you said, not everything.
Oh, to a certain subject that I said. All right, well let me finish before you interject. So again, what I was saying is that we're our and by the way, that came from a PhD. That comment didn't just come from a nobody. It came from a PhD who hey yo, Sanetta, you might want to pay attention to this part of the discourse. Sanetta, you might want to pay attention to this part of the discourse. I just made it very clear to the audience that's watching that statement didn't just come from a nobody, but it came from a PhD who said that I didn't know what I was talking about as with respect to what I was just saying. So now you're going to have the opportunity to see me have a discourse with a PhD and see how that ends. Okay? So here you go, brothers. By all means. He said, basically, let's be clear. Let's frame the argument. I said that from my perspective, and it's just my perspective, you can put as much gravity and water in it as you want. I said from my perspective, with respect to my value system, my current value system, I have no problem with the statement made that it's BS for an African person or person of African descent to go get a degree in Africana studies. I didn't get to finish why I said that or why I thought that, but before I did finish, my brother here, Dr. Professor Jahi, said that I didn't know what I was talking about. So I'm going to allow him a moment without hogging the mic and a filibuster. I'm going to allow him a moment to clarify his statement, and then I'm going to handle my business.
Okay. So do you know where Dr. Clark taught for 30 years? Yeah.
He taught in the School for Social Research. He also taught at Hunter. I know he taught at Hunter because my mother was one of his students in his classroom back in 1976 when you were in grade
school. So yes, I was in grade school. Right. So in what department did he teach in?
He taught in Puerto Rican and Africana studies.
Okay. Very good.
Any more questions?
Right. So that means that he taught people who got bullshit degrees in Puerto Rican, like your mother, got a bullshit degree. No, that's what you said. No. You said that we can't go
I'm gonna let you finish.
To a university who has taken hostage of our information, but yet some of our greatest minds, including Dr. Ben, who taught at Cornell University, right, in Ivy League school, Dr. Clark, who didn't even have a PhD in the classical sense. He didn't even have a high school diploma, but he retired one of the highest levels of professorship, right, and taught Africana studies to people like Dr. Ani, who wrote Urugu, one of his top students, right? And with that knowledge, she is going all over the world teaching our people. So when you make those type of comments, you got to be clear. Like you said, you did kind of rephrase it and say to your own belief.
I didn't rephrase that. I said that from the beginning.
All right. Well, okay. Then I'm sorry. I didn't hear that. Okay. And what I'm saying is that culture is just as important as economics and finance, right? And if you go into any university, right? Any university.
If you work in IT, you need nTr, an all-in-one remote monitoring and management solution to run your
university in the Western world. Every subject is given the same equal access as another. I know because I've taught at several, right? You don't put a higher emphasis over economics and European history because European history promotes what? European cultural values, right? Because the culture is everything. And the thing that we're under attack. I wrote an article. My second article is called How Black Colleges Are Turning White.
Brother,
and I want
to address some of the things that you said.
Let me finish, brother. All right? Then I'm going to let you address it. All right? I wrote an article. You can Google it. How Black Colleges Are Turning White, Part 2. At the bottom of that article, I talk about the attack. I wrote this in 2014. And I talk about the attack on Africana studies all over the country by white scholars. But now what I'm seeing is that we have black scholars, right, who are trained traditionally and some who are not. When I say trained, I mean those who have gone through the peer review process, saying that these degrees are not important, but all of us are impacted by Africana studies because it is the core of the culture. You don't have African economics without African culture. You don't have that. You start first looking at, if you want to study French, you start, if you're black, you start from an African point of view and you study French from an African point of view. If you want to study English, I study English from a black African point of view. And that's how I go into the world. I look at mathematics, computer science from an African, that's Africana studies, right? That's not BS, right? And these universities, some of us right, who go to some of these, matriculate to these white schools.
Bro,
Some of us,
we having a discourse.
no, I'm a teacher. This is what I do. So don't tell me I'm not giving a lecture.
Bro,
this is what I do for a living.
Yeah, on the real. Like,
all right, well, let me finish, and I'm gonna walk off.
Respect thing. Go ahead, by all means. I didn't do that to you. In fact, I stopped and I gave you the mic when I was in the middle of my
I'm gonna give it back because and I addressed it and I said you were misinterpreting some information. Not on that subject, you didn't. Not on that part.
Okay, that's fine. So you shared the perspective. So now let me say this. My brother, we have a difference of perspectives, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I just had to address his statement of him.
Go ahead, brother Chris.
Okay. Did you see why Shaka interrupted him though? Because like I said earlier, Shaka was speaking on Wesley Muhammad, and Dr. Issa began to speak on Wesley Muhammad, but then it seemed to turn into what he's accomplished. That's not what Shaka, that's why Shaka interrupted. He was like, whoa, because you're unpacking a lot of stuff here. Let me interrupt you for a minute. I'm only talking about this, and this is what I'm talking about. I want the audience to understand the dynamic that's going on here. And Shaka tried to probably was trying to reel him back in. He was not trying to make another argument. Who's to know if he was going to start making some of the arguments that Dr. Issa was speaking of. And just to let him know, if he looks at this channel and sees this video, I've actually I want to show everybody something right quick, and I'm going to read it. I'm actually going to read it. Let me do this right quick. If I can get a quick screen share up, as you can see it, I've actually pulled up his paper and I'm going to read it. So I'm going to
any chance you can make it larger, brother?
Sure. Let me see.
I presume you're using a computer, so just with the trackpad, you should make the whole text larger. Like just going like this.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah. Okay. Oops.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And
so
then
here it is. I'm going to read his papers, right? And it's by Dr. Jahi Issa, PhD. So I'm going to read it. I'm not going to critique it because I already agree with his premise. But where Shaka had to interrupt him at, he's like, whoa, I ain't talking about all that. And I can see that's what Shaka was getting ready to do before he went in on himself and started speaking about some of his accomplishments. I don't think it was fair to go into what you wrote then and there, because the topic then becomes about you, as you heard him say, hey, man, I'm teaching right now. This ain't no discourse. And it's like, yo, that's not fair to Shaka. That's not fair to Sarnetta. And it's definitely not fair to the platform, because that's not what he was doing. So go ahead, brother. I just want to show you a lot of times people do that. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead.
But, the funny thing is that indeed Shaka almost told him, you're not giving a lecture right here. We're having a discourse. Then
that's right.
Dr. Jahi said, but that's what I do for a living. I'm like, that's what you do for a living, at your place of work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, we gotta stop doing that. Go ahead.
No.
Saying I didn't know what I was talking about. I don't open my mouth unless I know what I'm talking about. I have a proven track record that proves that. So I don't have to go on a roof with a bullhorn or stand on top of a pyramid with a bullhorn and profess that to the world. But what you have to understand is part of the reason that my brother feels so visceral about that subject matter is you have to understand that he has an invested interest. He has an invested interest in his perspective because his degree pertains to that subject matter. My brother has a PhD in, what is it, the Black Studies with an emphasis on Marcus Garvey?
No,
what is it?
My PhD. That's another, because you're not the first person to say no. My PhD is in U.S. history and the African diaspora.
Okay.
My expertise is U.S. history, African American history, and the African diaspora, meaning African people after during the transatlantic European slave trade or the Great Maafa into the Americas up into the 20th century.
Okay.
And it's Black nationalism. And within Black nationalism, my primary scholarship is on the Garvey movement.
Thank you very much for clarifying that. I appreciate that. So again, as I said, my brother has a vested interest in such degrees because they pertain to his own vocation. So for me to say what I said, in some ways, I can understand why he would take it the way he took it, because to some degree, if internalized and personalized, it would appear as if in somehow or some way I would be diminishing this brother, or if I would be diminishing brothers. Like, allow me to finish. Allow me to finish. There's no need to interject. I didn't interject when you were talking, bro. So again, exactly. Let me clarify some things for you. First of all, my mother sat in Dr. Clark's classroom at Hunter College, as I said, when you and I were both in grade school. So I'm very clear on who he was, okay, and what he did. I'm also very clear on his refrain that he said from the time he was a young man. His main goal was always to be a great classroom teacher. He always said that. Above all else, he wanted to be a great classroom teacher, and he certainly was on a world-class scale, no question about it. The same is true for Dr. Ben. Right. The same is true for Dr. Ben. As far as Remember Ani is concerned, the elder, the significant elder, the esteemed elder, she's also a colleague and a dear personal family friend. Personal friends with my mother and visits with my mother, or certainly socializes with my mother when she's visiting Ghana in Africa where my mother lives. So I'm no stranger to any of these people that you're talking about. These are all extended family members to me. So when I speak, I'm speaking with authority. I'm not speaking as an outsider who just figured this out a few weeks ago, or a few months ago. I'm speaking as somebody who actually grew up with these people. You understand what I'm saying? Was in the same room with Dr. John Henry Clark. When Dr. John Henry Clark's wife sees me, Sybil, she asks me, how's my mother doing? They understand and know the family that I come from. So when I say what I said about steering young African people to get degrees in Africana, and I said that that statement has to be qualified and contextualized. That's basically what I said. It has to be qualified and contextualized. That's why I said if it's coming from Wesley Muhammad or anybody else in his position, that would be like, well, no, hold on. I would actually give it more credit if the statement came from you. If someone like yourself who had a degree in those types of studies, and you looked at other students and said, well, I think that it would be a waste of time for you to do that, I think you would certainly have a lot more authority to say it, and it would be much more plausible because it's coming from somebody from the inside. But from my own perspective, and all I'm asking to do is to give some deference, if not in total, some deference to my own perspective. And I cannot devalue my perspective simply because it may contradict and conflict with your own perspective. I think what would have been more appropriate would have been, rather than you say, I don't know what I'm talking about, I think what would have been more appropriate and more apropos as senior.
UTrack is a project management system that's designed to be flexible.
Elder Mother Adelaide Sanford, the former regent for the New York State CUNY University system, I think for the New York Board of Ed, actually. What she always talked about propriety and impropriety. In ancient Kemet, in ancient Egypt, they called it the proper gesture. At any given moment in time, there's always a proper thing to say and or do. And I personally feel that you saying what you said when you said it, the way you said it was inappropriate, and it was not apropos. It was impropriety. And so what that does, all that's going to do is create unnecessary consternation. What we should have done, and the appropriate thing would have been to say, hey, well, Shaka, let's explore what you're saying and see if that's true, rather than to address me with, I don't know what I'm talking about. I do know what I'm talking about. I said what I said based on plausible reasons. The reason that I said what I said is that if you look into other communities, I'm not saying that there are not Jews who have, let's use the Jewish community for an example. I'm not saying that there are not Jews who do not have degrees in Judaica studies. They probably dominate the Judaica study system, no, without question. But what I'm saying is that the problems that face the Jewish community are not the same problems that face the African American community. You understand what I'm saying? We have a different qualitative and quantitative set of problems, the immediate problems that face us. And what I'm saying, I will say to you what my mother used to say to me. And at the end, because she was also raising sons, not just daughters, and I found it very plausible. And by the way, my mother allow me to finish. Okay, well, hold on, that's your perspective, and then we will agree to disagree. The reason why I feel that's okay. Well, okay, that's your guess what? Hold on, brother. But hold on. You know what? Hold on, I have the microphone. He said it's his expertise. I'm gonna tell you what. Hold on, I'm gonna tell you something. It's still a perspective. It might be an expert perspective, but it's still nonetheless a perspective. And there's nothing that you can do to change. Your degree can't change that. It's still a perspective. Your degree is worth the paper and the ink that is written on, my brother. You understand what I'm saying?
No.
It is. Of course it is. Without question. Without question. Okay, in any event, the point that I'm making,
See, he's not on my level.
the point that I'm making, well, I tell you what, you can set up a debate anytime you want. Set up the debate anytime you want. Hold on, set up the debate. There you go.
I would debate you if you write a 5-page paper with footnotes on why you want to debate me.
No,
Pause. Now, where has this all gone wrong? This has gone wrong simply. And this video, you can learn how to have a discourse with somebody that may be your superior or they may be your equal. But you can tell both brothers are smart. You can't really tell which brother has a doctorate degree right now. You don't know. So what I'm trying to show is here, first of all, Shaka Amos is offended because of what Dr. Issa said. And Dr. Issa should have said, I'm sorry, I got a little bit too wordy there with you. I didn't mean to say bullshit degree. Your auntie had a bullshit, or your grandmother had a bullshit degree, or whatever the case may have been.
No, he didn't say that. The thing is that he said you don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
And that kind of like when you're going to say, for instance, like such as myself, when people say you don't know what you're talking about, sometimes I'm sitting there like, dude, I've done all this study. I have a master's degree. How can you tell me I don't know what I'm talking about? That is a form of ad hominem. And remember, Dr. Issa is the one that has come forth and engaged Shaka Amos with this, right? He engaged Shaka Amos. Prior to that, Shaka had the mic. We're not saying that Dr. Issa was not present, but he is engaging him. And Shaka, now that he's upset, he does something that I like to call it. He wants to scholastically bang with him now. He wants to show his aptitude with him. He says, look, we can set up a debate and we can handle this in a debate. That's a good way to do it. But Dr. Issa is now going to come forth. He's going to qualify him. You got to write a paper with footnotes. Well, why weren't you doing that with a sorry MOTAP?
And before he said he's not on my level.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I like Shaka Amos' response because he's going to say, in other words, he doesn't want to debate.
Dude. Hold on. I offered the brother debate, but being that he has no debates under his belt, being that you have no debates under your belt, hold on, brother. Being that he hasn't debated me. He hasn't debated me. I'll debate, bro. We can go now.
All right. No.
Hold on. We gonna go now. You got it? You got it? You got it?
Right? But I already said, if you want to debate me,
right.
Write a 5-page paper.
Okay, all right. So in other words, he don't want to debate me.
You see, and that's clear. You know, I mean, you don't ask people if you want to debate me, write a 5-page. I said 7, but it's actually 5. A 5-page paper with footnotes on why you want to debate me. That's a bit arrogant. You know what I'm saying? Because picture Shaka Amos taking the time to write that 5-page paper with footnotes. Dr. Jahi can still say, well, the paper is not written well enough. I'm not going to debate you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And like Shaka said, in other words, you don't want to debate me. So the fact that, and one of the things I asked Reggie yesterday was, and I want to talk to Dr. Issa about, was once again as well, I want to learn how to write papers, right? Create my own journal, my own online journal, and write the papers and use the correct methodology, right? Because too many times debates are becoming about who's the loudest or who's the most entertaining, and it's not really about the information. It has to be about the information and who has the skill to deliver the information, not ad hominems and ad nauseum and things like that. Once it's got to be the community itself has got to change the standard. Right? You can't expect the individuals to change the standard because they feel like it's working for them. So many times when I see debates being done, I just be all like, this is not the right way to debate. How is it that a Chris Harris has offered you a subject and Chris is the affirmative and you're going first when Chris is supposed to be introducing it. You know what I'm saying? Why can't you just, it's certain things that people do. Well, I'm gonna come with a bunch of information, throw it at the wall, and show everybody I'm right. That's not how you debate. You know what I'm saying? So this is where this has gotten out of hand at. It's gotten completely out of hand at this point now. So go ahead. It's just out of hand.
Yeah. It just basically escalated. You know, so yeah.
So in other words, he doesn't want to debate me. He doesn't want to debate me. But that's your opinion. That's your opinion. Look, that's your opinion. That's your opinion. All right. And anyway, like I said, the point I'm making is this. Look, the point I'm making is this, right? Like I said, degrees, as my mother used to tell me, all the African knowledge in the world, if it cannot get you a token to get on the train, guess what? Guess what? You're going to be stuck wherever you are. You understand what I'm saying? And all I'm saying is that we have to, as a community, with the type of issues that we suffer from, a degree in Africana studies is not going to stop these police from shooting us in the street. You understand what I'm saying? A degree in that, for some reason, he doesn't want me to speak. He just keeps interjecting. Well, but you can do it. But you know what your degree did not give you? Your degree did not give you respect. That's what your degree did not give you. So then your degree did not give you that. Hold on, look. Hold on. I'm in front of the camera. Hold on. I'm in front of the camera and I got the microphone. A few times you come over here try to elbow me out of the camera. That weight don't move me, bro. It don't move me at all. I'm telling you, you come up against the wrong person the wrong way.
So why you acting like that?
Because you disrespectful. I don't like disrespectful people. Come on, man. Okay? And I'm gonna treat you like you're disrespectful. Come at me again like that. And I'm gonna show you why my name is Shaq.
I ain't got nothing to do
Real talk, bro. Don't come at me like that. I don't give a fuck about you.
And it's out of hand now. Now it got all out of hand now.
It's about the end of the video, and because it's going to be a lot of swearing, you know, we don't really need to see the rest. But I think Shaka Amos, I'm going to be accused of being biased, but I think he has a point where he says your degree did not teach you respect, because, you know, we can always interject. You know, it happens, you know, sometimes somebody talks, you really want to say something, so you interject. You might say sorry, you might not say sorry. The person might not take it wrong, but the way it's been going on, it was constant. You know, it was constant. And I don't think he would have done the same if he was a fellow PhD. I don't know if he would have done the same if he was a white dude. You know, sometimes we lack decorum amongst ourselves. I mean, you know, Tav wrote he probably fears that he'll lose the debate. Nutri for Wellness wrote Shaka salty. Well, I don't know if you've seen the whole thing, but at the beginning, Shaka Amos was talking. Then at one point, Jahi Issa said, Shaka doesn't know what he's talking about. Right. And Shaka almost took it well. He took it well from that point on. And then the discussion. But, you know, that was then, you know what I'm saying? You know, it is what it is. But we can all learn, indeed. I agree with Brother Chris. We can learn from this video alone, you know, how to address people, how to approach people. So it's always good to try to be diplomatic, you know. So, I mean, there's a wannabe linguist, you know. I was talking with him. I greeted the dude, and his group is like, oh, he had all this smoke. But now when he came on, he was like, peace to you. I was being polite. You know what I'm saying? My purpose was to get the point across, and was for him. I did not expect him to confirm that he's been a fraud, but he did confirm it. When I asked him if he has a degree in linguistics, he says that he has a degree in computer science. You know, and he was disingenuous because he could have just answered no. What I asked him is, did he have a degree in linguistics? You know what I'm saying? So I had a goal. I had an objective. You know what I'm saying? So he first said, my question didn't make sense. I took it, you know. I was like, okay, never mind. But then when he started again, that's when, you know, I kind of went all out. You know, I didn't curse him out, but it's like, okay, I have to let you know you're a fraud, and that's it. So it's not always easy, you know. Trust me, it's not always easy. When you're talking with somebody and the person belittles you, the person is condescending towards you, the person is arrogant towards you, it's not that easy. Spectators like to say, well, if it was me, I would have kept my composure. Hey, it's not you. It's not happening to you on the spot. You have adrenaline, and people don't all react the same way. If you feel disrespected, you know, you're just not gonna like it. You know what I'm saying? Particularly if you feel disrespected when you have not said anything about the person, in the first place. Ta wrote he feels that he has a degree, that what he says is automatically right. Well, kind of, but I would say he's not the only one. A lot of people who have degrees, particularly PhDs, I mean, they are used to teaching. They are used to people agreeing with them. They are somehow, some way considered some authority. So um, I really hope that sometimes I don't come off as arrogant and condescending, because sometimes when you have knowledge and the way you share that knowledge, you might come off as a little bit arrogant or condescending, particularly when you just don't agree with what people say. And in the conscious community, for example, the linguistic acrobatics and linguistic gymnastics, whenever I hear it, it's very difficult for me to just remain silent and just let it fly, because I know it's inaccurate, or in other words, wrong. You know, and in the conscious community, in the Black conscious community, people don't really like when people say you're wrong. They like when we say, "Oh, that's powerful information," you know. But anyway, you wanna add on to this, Chris?
Once again, just because you have a degree in something does not mean you are correct. I'm going to give an explanation. I'm a engineer, right? I work in research and development. No one's correct there. It's called research and development, but you need a degree in engineering in order to understand what you're researching and two, what you're developing. And where I might be right in one formulaic structure of a valve, I could be wrong with the other half of the valve, right? Because it has to operate at 100% efficiency. So in the research and development lab, there's a elder or a senior researcher there that says, okay, we can make this work. This is a good idea. I agree with this, but I disagree with this. Let's develop this part where we're having problems at. So no one's 100% correct. You understand what I'm saying? When you're dealing with engineering, you have to get it correct because you're dealing with science and mathematics. When you're dealing with science and mathematics, you're dealing with formulaic equations that have to be presented before your peers, before they're accepted, right? And I came up the old school way, driving a forklift. Anybody that knows me, I was driving a forklift for like maybe 5 years while I was in high school, not in high school, but while I was in school, going to school during the day and working during the night. I used to debate sometimes at work on a forklift. Anybody knows that 5 years ago, they would hear me. So what I'm sitting up there saying is that was not the time to say, you don't know what you're talking about. I have a degree. Once that goes there, Shaka had every right to say, you know what? We got to stop talking now. We got to stop talking. And not to mention, I have been saying that, like, when people are in a heated discussion, don't come up and or try and bump somebody out of the way. You might be playing, but they're taking it as a form of pseudo masculinity where, hey, get out the way. And he's not feeling that, like, yo, I got the microphone. I got the mic. I'm in front of the camera. Don't do that no more. And that's when it got completely out of hand. And I don't agree with that element of it, but I do agree with the element of, hey, man, it's not about your degrees. That just means you're qualified, that you're qualified. Now, in the debate, you having the degree, here's the catch. I'm going to show you how unqualified you are to be standing before me in the debate, and you're the one with the strength here. You see what I'm saying? You have the degree. Show me how smart you are. Show me how articulate you are. Show me your skill set. You see what I'm saying? That this degree has afforded you. A debate, when you debate, it does not say you need a doctorate and you can't debate anybody else. Once you start saying, I have a doctorate at this, right? I don't talk to y'all. That means you're high and mighty. You're above everybody else on that pyramid behind you. I'm above y'all. I have a degree at this. I don't have to talk to anybody. That's not fair to your peers. It's not fair to the audience. It's not fair to the platforms that you appear on. But Dr. Issa, as stating, moving forward, I will read your article on the ethnic cleansing of the HBCUs. I will read that because I've been saying that for like the last 3 or 4 years now. I do want to read something. And Shaka said, Jahi's degree is not worth the ink and paper it's written on. That's the only insult I heard. Well, I don't think you heard the beginning of it, when Dr. Issa was actually the one insulting Shaka. and his stance. You see what I'm saying? So once again, that's going a little bit too far here. Let me see. Ta states, he says, and he kept doing it physically in a debate that goes nowhere. Nobody's gets nowhere. Nobody's point gets across, nor is anyone listening to each other. Exactly. See, right there. Right there. Sometimes people need to listen to each other. And this is why I say anecdotes are a preference. Like if I go into a dialogue now here, man, here's my 3 anecdotal talking points that I'm going to be using to have a discussion with you about. I'm not running all over the place with you. This is what I'm discussing. Display it up there on the screen so everybody can see it. You see what I'm saying? When you're debating, here's my source. I'll be using Robin Walker's work. I'll be using Toby Wilkinson's work. Here's the sources. I'll be presenting information that I've discovered in chapters 4 and 5, in chapters 6 and 7 in this book. I'll be bringing that, and then I'm gonna be bringing the empirical evidence from the Smithsonian Museum to back up my statements. That's how you debate and exchange sources. Not all this surprise stuff, not all this arguing and bickering everywhere. You see what I'm saying? Unfortunately, I'm kind of like moving away from the conscious community and with the way they debate, because that's not how you debate. And I'm on another channel debating now, not modern day debates, but another channel that it's small and it's actually more fulfilling, that I can scholastically do things now. You know what I'm saying? And
You want to give the name of the channel,
no,
brother?
no, I don't want nobody from the community following me over there with that silliness. No. Coming over there. No, I will not give it out. No. Everywhere I've gone, people follow me. I'm good. No, thank you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Say, yeah.
You know, Chris, I would like to ask you. There's a brother. I was quite impressed by him because I think he used to be a Hebrew, but he's no longer a Hebrew. He's more like an agnostic now, and he's very familiar with the Hebrew language. And he
Correct.
had a
I'll cite
debate.
everything that you say. Correct, Talk. Go ahead.
Yeah, he had a debate with Zion Lex. Now, before the debate, actually, I don't even think the debate took place. Actually, they had a pre-debate, and on the pre-debate, which was on Sinaitic's platform, when it was Zion Lex's turn to go, Zion Lex will go as long as he wanted, you know. And when the brother, I forgot his name. I don't even think he has a YouTube channel. Um, when he would like be like, yeah, but you know, this guy's going forever. Sané was kind of like, yeah, but you know, that's his turn now. If it's your turn, you do your thing. And Zion Lex, you know how he does. He's like Funk Master Flex putting bombs, and he's being his own hype man, you know. and the brother didn't have a presentation. He didn't have a presentation because it was a pre-debate. But later on, he went on Sinaitic's platform because his argument was that there's a passage in the Bible where he says,
No, they had that debate. Yeah, I
oh,
know
they
what
had
you're
it.
talking about. Yeah,
Oh,
I
right.
think they had that debate, and that brother was 100% correct. And
In
he was
sorrow,
showing
in
that it does
ships.
not say we'll go in ships.
Yeah,
It
it
does
says in
not say that.
sorrow.
Yeah, he said it said we'll go in sorrows back to
Mm,
Egypt. He kept on saying that. He said this is a mistranslation, brother.
mm.
And you know, unfortunately, he wasn't able to bring his point across. But Big Bad MVP did debate Zion Lex in an official debate, and we saw how that went, didn't we?
Yeah.
Chris Harris destroyed Zion Lex at that.
Yeah.
He worked. So that's all. Yeah, but I saw that
Now,
debate.
do you remember the brother's name?
No, I don't remember his name. I have to find his name, but yeah, he was a he studied the Hebrew text or the Aramaic text, or the, as
Yeah.
I like to call it, the Masoretic text.
Yeah.
Because there ain't no such thing as Hebrew. Let me pull it up real quick.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, I've never understood why people don't understand that it doesn't say ships there. I have to find it. Hold on.
Well, I like the brother's demeanor. He's real cool, you know. uh, it's real cool.
Yeah, so no, I can't find it.
Yeah.
We're way into something else on my
Well, never
phone.
mind. If he
Yeah.
hears us, if people know him, tell him, shout out to him. He's welcome to come in.
Here he is. His
Uh,
name is Dwight Stone, brother Dwight,
yes.
Dwight, brother Dwight.
Because just the white. If I'm not sure if he has an account, if he has a YouTube channel, but yeah, brother Dwight. If you hear us, if somebody knows brother Dwight, if I just put Dwight, I ain't gonna find it. But yeah, because I heard him say that he's studying the Medu as well, so that's quite interesting. I mean, he has knowledge of these ancient languages, these Asiatic languages, and all these things are useful because Zionex has knowledge of the Hebrew. It's obvious, but Zionex is just more than bias. He follows a doctrine. He follows an ideology. So Zionex, for example, um, he states that the Meron Petastella says Israel, and I saw the other day that he on his Patreon he was
I
about to
just
talk
put it in
about.
the chat, by the way. I put it in the chat, by the way.
All right, okay, it's gonna appear on my end. He he's about to make a presentation about the pharaohs of the Exodus, and I'm like, oh, for
Yeah.
real? Oh, well, you should share that with the whole world because we don't even know who he is. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But
I mean, where was the name mentioned in the Bible? So, Zion Lex has religious agendas. He has a
yes,
religious
yeah,
agenda.
definitely.
Okay. And Zion Lex is trying so hard to prove these Hebrews existed.
Yeah,
And I guess they're doing this because they feel as if this is going to give Black people or Africans in this country a destiny. All right. Which is completely it's not going to give us any special destiny. We're not going to get whisked away to some magical place called Israel. No, that's not how it's going to work. Religion is not going to show us who we are. The only thing that's going to help Africans throughout the diaspora worldwide is one word. It's called unity. And once we unite together, all right, once we unite together, then we'll be able to manifest our destiny and the whole world will begin to see it. We're not Hebrews. We're not from the tribe of Hbcus. We're not from any of that. We're from the greatest continent on earth, and that is Africa. And Africans worldwide won't realize their destiny until they first realize it's Africa for the African. So with that being said, Brother Shaka, I'm about to get ghost here. I want to get ready to go work out here. As you can see, I'm putting on my workout clothes. I want to say thank you for allowing me to express myself about Dr. Issa. And as anybody can see, there has been no ad hominems, no slander on the, he's a very intelligent brother. There has not been any of that, but it is a precedent that he has set for others. And I'm asking him today, I'm asking him to follow it himself. You understand what I'm saying? So when you begin to follow that precedent, then once you begin to follow that precedent, then nobody will be able to look at you as if you're being somewhat disingenuous. So with that being said, Africa for the African. Uhuru, brother.
Uhuru, Ndugu,
Peace, brother.
Kwaheri.
Kwaheri and Ndugu.
Oh, you know some
Right.
Kiswahili?
Yeah, I learned a lot of it back when I was in the 8th grade. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
haya. Nzuri
Yeah.
sana.
Nzuri sana. Nzuri sana.
Okay.
Peace.
Hotep said, peace.
Hotep.
Yeah, so well, I don't know if Brother Chris can see or hear me, but I didn't see the account in the chat. But you said it's Dwight Stone or Dwight. But yeah, maybe we'll hear from the brother again. But I was quite impressed, with his breakdown of the language. You know what I'm saying? I cannot even remember if he actually wrote at some point. So feel free if you want to get on the panel, brothers and sisters. You only need to show your face. That's the only requirement. If you don't want to show your face, then use the chat. I'm gonna do, as I said, that's what I was about to do in the first place, to just go through some Medu nTr, Hieroglyphic. For those who don't know, I'm giving classes. So if you want to learn the language, then feel free to holler at me. So, do I have the reference? No, I don't have it. That's from the Louvre Museum, by the way. But those pictures were taken a very long time ago, and I was used to taking pictures of the references, but well, anyway, let's make it on social. That's from the Louvre Museum, anyway. So, on this artifact here, you see this recipient. You have the water coming out of it, and that recipient appears in the glyph here. All right. So here we have this is Jed Medu. It's not spelled all the way, but let's say it's an abbreviation. Jed Medu, and then we have the relief, so that would be Jed Medu in. Then we have Heb. Then we have the what will be Hes or Hesi or Heset. Then this looks like the owl, so that will be M. Then it looks like Irep. Then we have Iri. The rest I cannot tell here. Now, I'm wondering if this is the, what's the name again? On the boat, you know what? Let me look it up, because the other time as well, it was escaping me. So in Medu nTr, the word is Chau. Oh, you call it the sail. Okay, I didn't know the actual text title was called the sail. But anyway, then we have M. This time it's an animal rib, not the owl. For strange reason, this looks like the owl again. We have the arm. I don't think that's smooth, because it looks like the loaf of bread in front. If it's smooth, then the back should be a bit more arched. That looks like the recipient. It might stand for Henneket. Then we have Senetier. Here we have NKN Hemet. Well, okay, I'm not sure if it's Hemet, but well, NKM, and then we have that glyph and a seated person. Now, if we go to the bottom, the glyphs are way more distinguishable. There it is. Looks clear. Looks very clear. So, see a lot of people bounce now that I dealt with the Medu nTr. Feel free to interject. No matter what I'm talking about, we can talk about any other things, because it looks like the Medu nTr is not sexy. Hey, I have to deal with it. Uteb dinesu, patah, saker, usir, huther, nebet imenet, or imenetet is it? Redi es, peret cheru, ka aped, shes, menechet. I know that earlier I said sesh instead of saying shes, I have to take that L. That will be merhet, chet nebet, neferet, wabet, ankt, necher, im. Then we have sen, see, chau, emper, or peret, her. That will be the glyph for gent, genetet, kebeh. All of this is one word, kebeh. This actually doesn't look like it, but those are three ripples of water. So all this is Quebec. We have again per or peret, my bad, head. This I think is Ujao, the offering table. You know, this here, this glyph here. Then we have sen again, but the sen here, as well as here, is a suffix pronoun, plural. Oh, I forgot that one. But here it looks like the C of a placenta, the ch and the n. Now here we have m. I'm tempted to say, I don't know if he's offering. Here it looks like two-folded cloth. We have the t, we have the, it looks like the heel right here, the k. I'm not sure if this is the C of a placenta. Then we have the loaf of bread. Here it looks like, I don't know. And it's damaged, as you can see. Probably the owl here. Then we have hair. Now this here is, oh, I was about to say raneb, but why do we have what appears to be the ripple of water between ra and the single stroke and the neb? I don't know. So without that line, whatever that is, I would say raneb. Even with it, I'm tempted to say raneb, but I'm not sure. Then we have nkn nebet per. And this is, we have the determinative of a seated person, most likely a lady, because of the hair, and because we have nebet. So hetnu or henut, I'm not sure. It's a shame I don't have the reference, because we might have had the name of the person here, but it will be that person, that lady here. We can see the breast, we can see the hair going around the shoulder here, and this is most likely a priest, because if we look here, we don't really see the color, which has faded away. Like for example, we see here, that thing is the same here. Here we see the color. Here we barely see the remnants of the color. But I would say this is a leopard skin here. So it's most likely a priest. I would not do too many, however, you know. I would just go through a few. Now here, we will not be able to read the glyphs. Oh, that one looks nice, so we'll go through it. I just have to, you know, get something to drink. I'll be right back, okay? We have Nina812 who wrote, my brother learned years ago how to read the glyphs. Thank you, God. You're welcome, you know. So let me just get something to drink and I'll be right back.
What is in milk that is so good? It's not just calories, but there's antibodies, there are cytokines, there are all kinds of molecules that are in the milk that have healing properties. And now clinical trials have been done that has shown that you can actually cure AIDS with raw milk. When I read that, it blew my mind, and then I looked further. Why would milk be able to cure AIDS? Well, we came back from Kenya in 1991 with something called alpha interferon that cures AIDS. So when you look in the milk, guess what's in the milk? Alpha interferon. Not only alpha interferon, but beta interferon and gamma interferon. All the interferons are in there. Now they said that if you really want to increase the potency of the milk, to increase its healing power, you let it sit at room temperature for 4 days after it's taken from the cow. You say, oh, that's spoiled. No, it's not spoiled. It's soured. Real milk, raw milk cannot spoil. It becomes fermented. They call it buttermilk. They call it yogurt. It's not spoiled. You're confusing it with pasteurized milk. You let pasteurized milk sit for 4 days. Yeah, it's spoiled, and if you drink it, it'll make you sick. But you drink that fermented milk, that soured milk, and the level of interferon and other health-promoting properties goes way up. I'm just trying to tell you something. Let me show you something where that is the latest development. Now this is, I'm in an experimental stage now, but this is a product that is made from milk. You said, there you go, you promoting yourself, brother, on the rostrum. Call it what you want. This has in it what are called infopeptides, which is just a component of the milk, especially the milk from a cow that has just given birth and is producing what is called colostrum. That early milk is called colostrum, and it is very, very potent in its medicinal properties. So now, what has been isolated from the colostrum are what are called infopeptides. These are small little proteins. Some are 2 amino acids, 3 amino acids, 4 amino acids, or 5 amino acids, and they are not biological in their properties. They are full of information. Information. Not chemistry, not biology. Let's say it another way. Full of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding so that these infopeptides will lock on to the receptors in each cell in your body and turn that cell on. And say to that cell, you are off your post. Get back on. You are unbalanced. You are cancerous. You are functioning at a low level or too high a level. You're out of balance.
All right. Can you please confirm that you can hear me? Nutri4 Wellness Road Snake Oil Salesman. The person you heard, I don't agree at all with what was said. And right from the beginning, for those that did not catch it, he makes a very bold statement. I'm telling you, in this so-called conscious community, we cannot hear it all. Listen to the bold statement right from the beginning from this medical doctor. He presents himself as a medical doctor.
What is in milk that is so good? It's not just calories, but there's antibodies, there are cytokines, there are all kinds of molecules that are in the milk that have healing properties. And now clinical trials have been done that has shown that you can actually cure AIDS with raw milk. When I read that, it blew my mind, and then I looked further. Why would milk be able to cure AIDS?
So you've heard it. Apparently, you can cure AIDS with raw milk. This is coming from a medical doctor who is a member of the Nation of Islam. I think his first name is it Halim? I think he's a minister. But I stated his name before, you know. As a matter of fact, if I just do a search now and I put, Nation of Islam minister AIDS killed with raw milk. Um, his name might come up. Back then, he had a website, actually, website of his own. It's Alim Mohammed's. I'm sorry, Dr. Alim Mohammed. Um, Let me see if his website is still up. Oh, apparently he has transited. There's a website that says remembering Dr. Ali Muhammad, who was a member of the with the Nation of Islam in the 80s. All right, I wasn't aware that he had passed on, or if I got the info, I forgot. But I don't think I would have forgot that information. Um, so when did he transit? Since he has transited, I'm gonna chill with my commentary. I just don't agree that you can cure AIDS. You can cure AIDS with milk or raw milk. So okay. Please confirm that you can hear me. Now, see this one as well. Yeah. Well, we can kind of see the face of the leopard. You have the tail here, just like the previous artifact. Hmm. Oh. It starts kind of the same as the previous one. We have Hotep, Dinesu, Ptah, Seker, Usir, Inpu, Tep, Ju F, D, Sen, Peret Heru, Ka, Aped, Shes, Menechet, Merhet, maybe Kebe, M, Irep. You know what? That's the word for offering. I forgot how it's pronounced because it's the arm with the vase or the pot. That stands for either in or nu. I think the word for offering, it might be henek. Might starts with a H, but I'm not sure. Then we have ren. We have the stool and the loaf of bread. Now, I wouldn't say that's renepet the year. I think it might be the word for fruit vegetables, reneput. Then we have nebet, redet. I don't know what's here because it's damaged. We have pet. Ta inen meri. I don't know here because we have like 3 lines. Determinative of the seated deity because of the beard. I'm not sure which bird that is here. We have most likely Ur here after the relief. It's funny because this relief looks quite different from that relief. So is it really a relief here? Oh, actually, no, it's a folded cloth. It is a folded cloth. Well, not 100% sure, but I would say it's probably the folded cloth rather than the relief. Well, it looks like we have the word E through here, though the U doesn't appear. Okay, I'll go to another one. Oh, thank you for letting me know that you can hear me loud and clear. Now on this artifact, well, we don't have the name of this nTr. We have the white crown. Is it Hedjet? This has to be Inpu with the was scepter. This nTr also has a was scepter along with the Heka and the Frail. And we do have Hotep Dinesu, Sir, Khanet Imentiu, Nebta Jeser, Jehuti. What I would say Aset, but we have the 2 strokes, the 2 diagonal strokes. We have the 2 pearglyphs, then we have Ra, and we have Necheru, Nebu, Abju. So we're used to seeing, Usir Neb Abju, but here we have Necheru Nebu Abju. Redisen, I forgot the phonetic value of this one. So we have Per or Peret M, and then would that be Met here? It looks like hair. Here we have Nebu. Here we have, is it the word for temple? And the rest is damage. Jedet, Jedef, EU, N-E, N-E, R-E, I cannot tell what we have here. We have the hand here. It looks like the Kowalczyk at the bottom. And the determinative with the seated man with the hand towards his mouth. And then we have the seated man again. So this is probably the suffix pronoun for E. Then we have im. It looks like the owl to me after the relief and the F. Then we have mi. I cannot tell what that glyph is. It does look like the one for Wa. Now we have the lion here, which has a phonetic value Ru, and later on with the Greek and Romans, probably more the Romans, but anyway, the Greek and Romans was used for the phonetic value L. Oh, you see here, that's Heb. That glyph, if I'm not mistaken, that's Heb, and that's a glyph used for the word Hebeni, which was something like Hebeninos in Greek, and which gave us Ibani in English. Okay. Oh no! Is it this one? Where is it? Well, this one might not be the one for Wa because it's the same here. But anyway, might be a bit technical. No, I'll go for another one now. And you know what? Well, I'll go through this one, and that's gonna be it. I'll see if somebody wants to come on. If nobody wants to come on, then I'll call it a day. You know, I'm really looking forward for participation. So don't be shy, brothers and sisters. You know. Okay. Let's go through this one. Well, actually, the previous slide was the top part, wasn't it? Yes, it was. So what do we have at the bottom? We have, once again, we have two lines. The first line, Hotep Dinesu, Usir, Khanet Imentiu, Neb Nehehe, Heka, Anku, Redi F Beret Heru, Ka Aped, Shes Menechet, Merehet, Irep. Now we have the relief, the eye, the mouth, then the loaf of bread. Then we have Het, Nebet, Neferet, Wabet, NKN. It might be Sesh here. It looks like the Sesh to me. Actually, it looks like we have the Sej and then Sesh. So it might be Sesh Nesu. And then I cannot tell because it's just damaged. It's not well preserved, so I cannot tell what we have. And that's something. We have input written with a determinative, but it is seated when we are used to see him lay down. Now on this side, Hotep Dinesu, Usir Neb Abju, Redi F Beret Cheruka Aped. Would that be Kebeh? Then we have Irep. We have the same thing, relief, eye, mouth, loaf of bread. I cannot really tell what we have there. Then we have, once again, Nebet, Chet, Nebet, Neferet, Wabet. You see, it's definitely the sesh here. NKN, sesh. And the rest I cannot tell. Okay, I will continue after this one. Was it? Okay, that's because I put it down, right? Yes, indeed. Now, Nina 812 is asking, what does the wavy line mean? Let me show you. So I'm going to share the screen. Okay, so that's my channel. That's the current video, the current live stream. And here, that's the description of the video, which is the same for most videos, right? Okay, I'll make it larger. So we do have the Cash App. Well, first we have the email address, and it says email for Medu hieroglyphic lessons only. Then we have the Cash App, appreciation and support, thus the PayPal. Then we have Kemet that I recommend. Then we have the very detailed article about Prophet Muhammad's color according to Islamic sources. Then we have the session of Asiatic black men that I also greatly recommend. And we have White Semites Black Awakening, Shabazz Malediction. Then we have Medu nTr, and finally my website. So when you click on Medu nTr, right, open in a new page. But what I'll do is this leads you to the hieroglyphic sign list according to the classification of Gardiner. And if you scroll right at the bottom, you have the quote unquote Medu nTr alphabet. Those are the uniliterals. Those are glyphs that stand for one sound, one phonetic value. And here, right in the middle, I don't know if you can really see my cursor, but second line, we have the reed shelter, the cobra, the basket, the owl, and then the water ripple. Some people say water wave. I usually say ripple of water. So this stands for the sound N. But on original artifacts, many times it appears as a straight line, particularly when it's on stone material. When it's painted, I would say most of the time it will definitely show, you know, with the waves or, you know, the ripple. So that's merely what it is. It stands for the sound N. So in combination with this glyph, that will make up words. It's like, you know, like we have our letters, the Roman script or Latin script, and when we combine letters together, they make words. So yeah. If you have any other questions, then feel free. Feel free. And whoever wants to learn the Medu nTr as a start, there's nothing I recommend more than learning the phonetic values of those glyphs. It's a very great way to start. Any other questions, brothers and sisters? Or should we call it a day? Take advantage. I'm live streaming nowadays more than usual, but it will not be like that forever. You know, and take advantage. You know what I'm saying? If you want to come and say what's up, if you have any questions, if it's something you agree with or disagree with, then feel free. You know, I wouldn't mind having some interaction. If there isn't any need, then it's okay. I'll call it a day. But you know, seize the opportunity. And for all the Twitter fingers, now we didn't have a troll today, nor yesterday. It's good. The trolls might be on holiday. They might be on leave. You know, and that's good for a change. Because usually when I'm live streaming, we have one dude who comes and say, "Well, just someone, you know, that comes and blasts me." You know, so I don't miss that. I'm just noticing that we didn't have that for a few days. You know, you might have been informed that in Italy, a man of Nigerian origin was killed, broad daylight, in the middle of the street. There were people around. We have a footage from a smartphone. The first article I read said that the guy told the Italian man's wife that she was pretty. Then I read another article saying that the Nigerian man was a street vendor and that he was insisting to sell his product, and at one point he would have touched the lady's arm. I read that the lady went to a store with her dude, and the dude was waiting outside, and when the lady had a look, her dude wasn't there anymore. So he went to the Nigerian man. He beat him. We can see a cane on the floor. Apparently, he used that cane as well, and then he finished him, as I read, bare hands. He has been arrested. He's not charged with racism, but he's charged with murder, and that's real messed up, man. Now, Italy is known for a great deal of racism. Now, this is a country, where Mussolini was popping, and so fascism, and it is well known that soccer, as you call it in America, football, as it is called in Europe, is well known as that black players in Italy many times are victims of racist insults, racial slurs. In Italy, many times the fans or spectators or supporters of the teams will make noises of monkeys when black players will touch the ball. Sometimes you will have signs, written signs. We have footage of players leaving the football field or soccer field. We have footage of black players actually crying because it couldn't take it anymore. So there's good and bad everywhere, but Italy is quite known to be a, should I say, a racist country, a country where there's a fair bit of racist. And when I say racist, I mean anti-black, negrophobic people. So, well, even with the mafia, like a movie like The Godfather, uh, and other movies, and comedians will make jokes. Italians are kind of known for not being so negrophiles, and of course that's not all of them, but it's a reality. So, and that's real messed up because you look at the news and it seems that every week we have several black men being killed worldwide, being killed by of course we have black people killing each other. We have black on black crime. It's a reality, it's true. But the black on black crime is not racially motivated. They don't kill each other because of the color of their skin. You know, they kill each other over money, over drug, over many reasons. Might be gang activity. Anyway, so there's no participation. I guess I will cut it a day. It's going to be less than 2 hours. Nina says that she's at work, so she would have been probing. Well, thank you for being there. I think it's the first time you come during a live stream. Now, whoever will see this live stream, just know for the record, and I'm sorry for those who are regular and who hear me repeating the same things, but you never know who might come across which video of yours. Whenever I'm live streaming, no matter what the topic is, no matter what the title is, you can always feel free to hop in, to get on the panel, and just state your piece. Usually when I'm live streaming, I share the invite link or the link to get on the panel, and it appears in the chat in the top right corner of the screen. Well, at least on the website version of YouTube. on the application, the chat actually appears below the video, if I'm not mistaken. So because the message is pinned, it's supposed to appear constantly at the top. So that allows you to get on the panel. You see. And the only requirement for people to get on the panel is to show their face. So if for whatever reason people don't want to show their face, then they can just use the chat and it's fine. We can talk. So I'm not Abrahamic, and I'm looking forward to connect with more non-Abrahamic people who are not fence riders and would like to follow the traditional African ways. I have a preference for Kemet. I'm familiar with the Medu. I'm giving Medu classes. So whoever's interested in learning the Medu, then feel free to holler at me. You can just send me an email and tell me what your availabilities are. I'm really looking forward to have groups. But that being said, I recommend that you watch the video Kemet and Ma'at, definitely. If you have not seen it, I would say that you're sleeping. It's less than an hour. It's about 45 minutes long. Then I think you might be interested also with the video called Deception of Asiatic Black Men. And that being said, thank you for being there. Enjoy the holiday season. Enjoy the summertime. Stay safe. Stay healthy. And if I'm allowed to buy the nTr, I will definitely holler back at you. Hotep. And also, just one last thing, if there are some French speakers, s'il y a des francophones, sachez que je donne des cours de hiéroglyphes, de Medu nTr. Parce que ce que j'ai constaté au fil des années, c'est qu'on a beaucoup de gens qui se disaient Kémites. Mais malheureusement, même le mot Hotep, ils ne peuvent pas le lire. Le nom Amon, ils ne peuvent pas le lire. Le nom Ptah, ils ne peuvent pas le lire. Ils ne peuvent rien lire du tout. Le seul glyphe qu'ils peuvent lire, en fait, c'est Ankh. Et c'est triste. C'est triste, ça pourrait changer, il faut arrêter. Et la plupart des gens qui sont kémites dans le milieu francophone sont anonymes et non identifiés. Ça va nulle part. Il n'y a pas de responsabilité. Donc, méfiez-vous des panafricains, c'est des violeurs et des pédophiles. Et voilà. So, holla.